Hi friends, it's Brittany at Ink and Papyrus and welcome back to my channel. Maybe you never thought of letters and phrases and words as being a crucial and great ways to liven up your junk journal layouts, but I'm here to tell you that they truly can liven up your junk journal layouts. This started as a very simple video, sort of looking to pinpoint different sources of different words and phrases and how you could get them. And this video just evolved over time. First, and maybe it's my ADHD, but first I ended up creating a storage system for my letters because I didn't really, plastic will work just fine, but I didn't really have a plastic tub and I didn't want to buy one. So I transformed a box very, very quickly and easily into a letter storage system. And then I started kind of broadening my horizons with different ways to, of course, you can just cut letters and phrases out of magazines and off of book pages, but I found this amazing transfer technique that I'm going to share with you today. And this video became so much more than I had intended. I have become obsessed with the tape method of transferring words and phrases, and I got some amazing pieces of ephemera, and I cannot wait to use these in my junk journals. The transfer technique is super amazing, and it is a great way to pick up various words, phrases, and small images out of magazines. And in the process, I'm going to show you, these are going to end up being sort of transparent, and they're going to look like the most amazing stickers ever. They can be stored easily, and once you're done with them and they're dry, they can be easily glued down to any page or junk journal layout just simply with a glue stick, and you are going to want to use these in your layouts, I promise. Before we get to that though, I want to share something with you. I could not believe the amount of free digital printouts available on Pinterest. That was the first place I started looking for printables for basically just letters and phrases. I've bought stamp sets that have a bunch of phrases, and I've bought digital images before off of Etsy, but the amount of free digital images available on Pinterest was absolutely striking. I recommend definitely doing this from your desktop, just searching letters and phrases printables in Pinterest, and you'll be able to save them and download them right to your desktop. And that just means you can size them however you would like. Okay, so now I got all these cute letters and more to come, of course, and I realized I have nowhere to easily store these. I don't want bags of letters stacked up on top of each other. I'll never use them. I'll never be able to find them. And I just got a subscription box in the mail for some wine. It was just a perfect size box with some cartons, some of those like brown paper cartons to keep the wine bottle still. And I thought, you know what? Instead of going out and buying another plastic tub, I'm just going to make up a storage system of my own. So that's exactly what I did. All I did was take a decent sized box and cut around the sides so that it would be a shallow sort of box, easy to reach into. Then I took some more cuttings of the cardboard that I didn't use, and I fashioned some dividers. I made them, I tried to fit them snugly in as much as possible, and hot glued around the dividers so that they would not go anywhere. I figure 26 letters of the alphabet plus a few extra places for some punctuation marks, having like 4 different letters per carton is probably perfect. I guess ideally you would create a ton of different dividers so that you only have 1 letter per box, but that was a lot of work. I think if you want to be that detailed about it, maybe just buy a plastic storage system. But again, this was meant to be really, really, really easy, and I end up labeling them so it makes it really easy to figure out which 4 letters are in which carton. I ended up stapling those cartons to the side of the box and reinforcing them with fabric because in addition to letters and punctuation, I wanted a separate space for phrases as well as small images that I will be transferring from magazines. Also, I reinforced the bottom of the box with some pink cardstock because I don't want any letters to get lost in the grooves of the boxes where the boxes fold over among themselves. And then I went around the box with some blue fabric and some Easter trim and some doilies and fake flowers and some other things, because you know what, I realized that I'm more likely to use things if they're pretty, if they're inviting, and I can easily find what I need. And I feel like I accomplished that. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing box, but you know what, I like it, and it's a storage solution that I easily created just in an hour with some basic throwaway tools at home. So these are the two magazines that I've been working from, and I want to show you how you can get some gorgeous pieces of ephemera to really enhance your layouts from things that you really would not think would do it. Mind the partial nudity, don't mind the partial nudity rather. Okay, so the thing is when I'm going through this, there are certainly plenty of images that I wanted to use for other purposes, so I went and cut them out. But there was a ton of phrases and text that normally I would have scrolled right by, because when you use their words in the phrase, like, I don't know that I want, for example, I'm probably not going to put anything about the Taj Mahal in my journals. Maybe I should strive to visit, but I've never been. But there were other words on this page that I knew I had to snag. And I want to show you ways that you could capture not only words and letters, but you can capture entire phrases if you're just a little bit creative and you kind of fashion your tape in such a way. And you can actually get parts of the layout of the image in with it. And for some of these transfers, I just pick the image themselves. Here I got a phrase and a little bit of a palm tree, and there's a ton of things like that. Would be a gorgeous image to capture. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can use these in your journals. I want to show you, I got some really little letters. Okay, you can get text this way just by, let's say, you know, picking up congratulations. You can use congratulations in its entirety, keep it as that word, or you can cut off the C, the O, the N, GRATULATIONS, and use these as individual letters to use in your journals later. Obviously, some of the phrases you'll want to keep as is, and sometimes you'll just want letters that you can kind of sift through to actually put in your journals. Now, because these were so small, I left them on the tape as is. There's no sticky part. You can store these really easily. However, there are plenty of other transfers I did that I would really like. Sorry, I'm just trying to put this back. Plenty of other transfers that I did that I want a more transparent effect. Now let me show you some of the things that I captured, and we will harvest a few of these as well, because I want you to start feeling comfortable actually using the tape to do transfers. Oh, I'm already eyeing some of these things up, and I can't wait to capture some of these. Okay, let me show you a few of the examples that I've already done. Okay, so here are some of the transfers that I have already done, and I'm going to put a white sheet here just so you can see it a little bit more easily than it being over the magazine, because some of them still have a little bit of a transparent hue. So let me just show you a couple of the images that I've done. I'm not sure exactly what this pickup was, what this image was, but it's gorgeous. One thing I will show you is we are going to be working with two different kinds of tape today, the larger one and this smaller one. Obviously, the larger one has its purpose. You can get more surface area. This is better for smaller text. This is much more manageable to work with. You really have to kind of, and I'm going to tell you, don't try to do the transfer of your most precious images first. It really has taken me a while to get the hang of how forcefully to rip it and how to kind of jerry rig it, and it's going to depend on your tape too. So do some practice. Practice pages is what I would advise. I was really still kind of getting the hang down, and you see there's some wrinkling there, and I did try, this is the other thing, you'll really want a bone folder. That has helped me tremendously. Now there's still like some wrinkling that I can't get out, and that's okay. Let me show you some of the other ones. This is a mountain. I was very, very happy with this transfer. Again, the larger tape, and what you'll see is when we're doing the transfers, if you rip it up forcefully enough, sometimes for whatever reason, I think of the pages as being in 2 layers, and sometimes you'll just get the image and you'll be left with a white part of the page that's really, really thin. I think that's ideal. Sometimes it'll just rip the entire page with it, and that's okay too, but I really like to keep it nice, thin, and with that little bit of translucency. Now, some of these we're gonna leave as is and put in our journals, especially like the small text that's harder to work with, but some of these I wanna try the soak off method, try and get a little bit more of a transparent image, and I think sometimes it even works better in, like, it's easier to work into your layouts. This was, again, from my travel. I think these all came from my Condé Nast Traveler magazines. I got some really, really good image transfers, and you may look at that and think, I don't know like how you'd use that in your journal layout, but I'm telling you, like, oh yeah, it goes this way. I was having a hard time looking at it. You'll be able to work these in really, really, really well, okay? I got this palm that I'm really excited about how the transfer came out. Okay, this was, I think, an advertisement or something. Like, I wasn't wild at all about this page. And then, like, I did this transfer and I thought, oh gosh, this is gorgeous. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Some of the page came in its entirety, and some of it I was able to just rip off the top layer of the page. I still think this is more ideal. If you're able to just rip off the top layer, it keeps it nice and thin, especially if you're not going to try and use the rub off method. But let's just see, let's play around a little bit. Still, obviously, you can easily use this regardless of how many layers you took off. It's not really sticky. You can easily store these, okay? And I'm so excited about the storage container I made because I think, you know, and I love this text, dreams do come blue. And look at the transparent effect of that. I can't wait to put this in my journal. I just find that when things are easier to find, they're easier to pull from, I can tell what I'm getting. I tend to use up my supplies much more than if I just throw it in a random drawer or in a bag and I can't really see what's inside. And I wasn't gonna like make it frilly or really put any time into it, but once I put the decorations on, I put some flowers and I lined the box. It looks so much cuter in the office. It's so much more inviting and it makes me excited to use it. And that might be weird, but that's just how I feel about things. And I don't take the time to do that enough. So much of my stuff is like kind of just thrown about, and it can be really overwhelming at times. It's not very aesthetically pleasing. Obviously, not everyone has a YouTube channel and films, but I'm sure you guys probably appreciate the effort. So yeah. And sometimes we just have to do things for ourselves, right? To make ourselves happy, make them pretty. That came from that New Delhi advertisement for that hotel I was showing you. Here's some more text. I love sapphires. So I had to pull that text. Experience. Now I can always chop these up and use the text as letters, but I probably will keep these as phrases. Perspectives, jet lagged. Obviously this came from a travel magazine. Step by step, wheels up. And the thing about this is sometimes when you're capturing a phrase or a word, it's not really something you would ever use like in the context of how it was initially presented, but when you just take that phrase or that word, you can use it in any different kinds of layouts. And some of these actually inspire me to make a layout, like wheels up. I thought, well, I'll probably use this in one of my travel journals and put in some pictures of the plane as we're taking off and the tickets and things like that. So that's the other thing. I hope this video kind of helps you decipher how you would use these in your layouts and convince you that this is a technique worth doing. Okay, so we're going to try the rub off technique. I'm not going to put any of my favorites in here because I don't know how this is going to work. This is just a bowl of some warm water. Well, it was warm before I started talking. I'm wondering, I like this so much. I'm gonna take the risk. And I've seen people do this before. I don't know exactly how long you're supposed to wait. See, it is, some part of it is still a little bit sticky. I don't know how long you're supposed to wait. We're just gonna go for it, you know? Figure it out later. Figure it out later. Try not to get your magazines wet. Maybe I'll just leave these in here for like, you know, I don't know, 10 minutes and kind of go from there. See, some of these transfers didn't go perfectly by any stretch. I don't know how much of an image I'm going to be able to get from this, but you know, it's all for the sake of experimenting. I imagine the ones where I accidentally pulled the entire page, they're probably going to have to take longer to soak. You could put something heavy down there to weigh it down. It's just on my desk. Choice. I'm probably going to cut these up. I don't like, I'm not really going to use this word, but the text is nice and big, so I'll probably separate those. The bigger the text, the easier they will be to separate. Okay, why don't we leave that as is? We're going to let those soak, and I hope it, like, this works as magically as you see creators do in other videos where it's like an easy little rub of the page and it's perfect and it's amazing, and you know, I feel like that might not be my experience. Oh, well, this is gonna leave a whole new added effect. Actually, the water splatters. Maybe it'll make the text a little bit more exciting. Okay, what else? I wanted to show you, I captured this little penguin, this group of penguins. I thought this was really cute. And this clock, again, another like advertisement or a page about a destination I probably wouldn't go to, but I got that. Oh, and then I got, I did this transfer that I'm not so sure about. It was like some statue. I'm gonna show you when we're doing the transfers. I'm no expert by any stretch yet, but it can actually be easier than you think if you've kind of messed it up, if you bungled it a little bit and you missed part of the transfer. You can go back if the tape is still sticky. You can go back and kind of line things up fairly easy and try and pick it up again. So let's look through our magazine and let's look at a couple of options for different transfers that we can do. I've kind of made my way through a little bit of this magazine. That may even, the purple building with the lights, that might even be a pretty transfer to do just for a background. Alright, we'll pick up where I left off. Okay, this looks like it might be nice text because it actually can be useful to have text this big in your journals for various layouts, but the problem is that my tape is not actually wide enough to capture. It would cut off the H and everything. So if you want to do this, what you have to do is pull each letter individually. Now you'll see as I pull this tape, it creates these lines that are a little unattractive. I don't know if this is because maybe it's a lower quality tape. The thing you can do to try and limit this a little bit is to only like pull and try and get it right the first time. Every time you pull and then stop pulling, it adds additional lines. And then leave your tape or your, well, that didn't work. Sometimes if you kind of leave, and it makes it a little bit easier, like leave a little bit of a tab for the next time. That can kind of help things a little bit. All right, so we're gonna try and pick up this H, and in order to get it started, you really have to have something, you have to have tape above and below it. You can't just put it down to where it barely covers the letter. you're gonna have to, like, when you start ripping it, there needs to be a little bit of area to kind of get the page started. Can't think of any better way to explain that. So you want to lay this down. We just gotta commit to it at this point. So we're not gonna get an O out of this because I already bungled it, and I kind of wanted to try and get in between here. The part of the O is going to be gone on this pull, and that's okay. So this is where the bone folder really comes in handy. You want to really get in there. This really does make a difference, guys, and squash it down. And depending on your tape, you'll figure out how, okay, this sounds silly, but if you pull it really fast, a lot of times what happens is you end up ripping the entire paper, which again, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. Probably isn't necessarily ideal. If you pull it really slow, sometimes you don't get any of the image transfer at all, or you end up with gaps, okay? So I'm just gonna try and pull with some. Okay, so you see I'm pulling too slow. I didn't pick up any of that H. Now, it may be because I'm too slow, or maybe because I didn't go far up enough. So I'm going to go over this with the bone folder again. You have to be careful because every time you try to do a pull, it gets harder and harder, in the sense that if you didn't pull anything the first time, there's less adhesive because your hand's peeling it back, and it'll just make it harder to pull the next time. Okay, so you see there? So I got the H. Kind of neglected to get a little bit of the top. We could go in for a second pull, and I don't think it hurts anything. Sorry if my head gets in the way. You have to like line this up perfectly. Okay? Now what we can do is go over this again. Now what I want to try and do this time is, because it seems to pick up better the further away you are. So if I'm pulling from here, it tends to be that the top of the image the transfer isn't as good. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get it seated down, and then I'm gonna pull from the bottom. See if I can do better. All right, I think I got a little bit more of the H this time. Now the problem you'll run into, oh, looks pretty good. You'll notice that where the image didn't transfer entirely, you have adhesive still. So if you stick this down, it's going to stick to anything and everything. Okay? One way you can overcome that is if you want to, you can go over a different background and try and kind of pull it up for storage purposes. I would say for sure, if you want to store this, you don't want to use it right away, then you really need to use the water trick, because otherwise you're not going to be able to store this anywhere. It's just going to be so sticky. So I'm going to put this in our bowl of water, and we can work on trying to pull maybe that T and E, and we can probably do it like this just because it's not as tall. They're not as tall of letters. Ooh, still too tall. All right. You have to do the E and the L. All right, try not to get any wrinklage. Get all the bubbles out. And of course, even though our goal is to pull up the E and the L, there's obviously some really cool words down here and phrases. This is too small. You wouldn't want to cut out the individual letters here, but you could definitely pull phrases here if you like. And, you know, just kind of use what you pull. Okay. Well, let's make sure we get the L there. Okay, that was a bad pull. Oof. Actually, I see the E pretty well, and the L is almost all the way there. It certainly looks like an L. Just gonna try and do a pull one more time. The large tape is definitely more challenging. You're gonna find it so satisfying, especially like if you start with this one first. It makes the small tape look so freaking easy. There we go. There's more of the E and more of the L. But again, there's plenty of areas where the adhesive didn't get to. See if I can pull up that black background. Probably not. This is our third pull. Not so much. So I'm going to put this in the bowl. Hopefully soak off some of that adhesive. Let's checking on the palm. Doesn't feel quite ready yet. All right. So let's do, oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. The umbrella and the planters, I'll probably pull that later. That's beautiful with a mountain, you could pull that. I obviously pulled some of this purple sky, I thought it was just gorgeous. This is where that palm came from. You could pull any of this text if these are places that you want to visit. The most impressive views in town, actually that may be really cute for a travel journal. The most impressive views in town. Let's see if we can get that full phrase. Yes, that should be good. See how easy that is? I want to get a different brand of, I mean, this works fine. I kind of just want to play around with different tapes and see if they work a little bit differently. I will say if you're taking a small phrase or word, it is probably better to, it might be easier to work with if you soak this first and then try and trim it down to the phrase you want, as opposed to trying to work with a really small little piece. The most impressive views in town, let's put that in there. Okay. This looks fun. This kind of just looks like a happy guy. Norman Bird Sanctuary. That looks pretty cool. And this bar, that looks awesome. Like, we've always put clients first. We're on the same they've done for us. Like, you would not put this ad in your travel journal, but you could get any number of words and text from this. And this is like the perfect size of text. It's not too small, it's not too large. Oh, I just ripped the tape in a way that I didn't want to rip it in. Let me leave it to me. Let's try harvesting some of this. If we do this right, we'll probably get 2 lines of text. There we go. Ooh, that was a good pull right there. See? Now, it can be a lot easier to work with if you, obviously there's going to be a part that doesn't pull up. You want to trim that off just because that part is still really sticky and it'll make it hard to work with. Okay. I don't, for some of the text like this, the benefit of putting it in the water is you're going to get more of a transparent look. But for the letters and stuff, I don't know. Sometimes I think I don't mind it being a little bit more opaque. These are big enough that I may save a couple words, but honestly, I will probably just use the actual letters. So this is the coolest part of doing this. It could be like eat poop and you'd be like, I'm not gonna put this anywhere, but you can harvest the letters and cut them up. so nobody will ever know. You just have an E, an A, and a T, and a P, and 2 O's, and another P. You know what I mean? Okay. This is beautiful. I love this, like looking out the window. I could definitely, and you know, this, like I said, like capturing these random images, sometimes it actually inspires you to make layouts you never would have thought to create before. That's what happens to me a lot when I curate magazine images for different projects. But what I'm thinking is like, you know, sometimes if I'm not sure what to do, I'll just make like a blue, for example, inspired layout of things that are blue or red, or, you know, a season, and just put all like fall things, you know what I mean? So I just want to, like, when you crop down images like this, it can look so cool. I kind of want to get the base of the chandelier in there. Try and do these as straight as you can. So see, we're getting a little bit of a tear there. We're actually getting the full page, and that's okay. Just gonna have to be okay with that. Got the full page, got most of the windowsill. Okay. And you see this is where the tape ends. We just somehow managed to get the whole page there. That's fine. Put that in our little box, our little thing there. I really like this garden view. This is beautiful. Oh, all right, but this is the thing you want to keep in mind. Despite your best efforts, sometimes what just happened will happen again. So if you have your heart set on a page, you should probably do that side of the page first, knowing that you may have to sacrifice the other one. You know what I mean? Just saying. I love this blue palm scene. This is spectacular. I want it. Put that down. I'm putting it down. I'm going to try and make it really good. There. Yeah, doggy. Look at that. Look how vintagey that looks. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to leave that little bit of white space. Like, these oftentimes look even better when you crop them a little bit and cut them down. That looks so good. Oh, I love this. I cannot wait to put these in my journals. Maybe I'll have to do a whole separate video of how I'm using these in my layouts. I would, but honestly, I've talked a lot of it about how I plan to use these in my layouts, and I think the video would be so long between showing you guys how I made a little compartment and then harvesting the text and doing the making them more transparent. I feel like the video is going to be really long. Alright, I really want to get those flowers. That's adorable. Oop, I messed it up. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Think about how much money we spend on stickers. And look how, had I not wrinkled this, well, I can kind of, if I put a little tension, it kind of undoes the wrinkle and actually makes it look a little bit more kind of weathered. Oh, look at that. Making lemons out of lemonade. Or making lemonade from lemons, rather. Yeah, You know what I mean? This is really, really, really pretty. Like, this is a sticker that I would totally just put in my journal somewhere. Oh, I have to tell you, I want to do this with book pages as well, and see the effect that it gives. And I wanted to do it on camera with you guys just so we can kind of see how it works, if it works as well, because I do like harvesting text from book pages as well. So let's give it a whirl, right? What's the worst that can happen? Yep, works really, really well. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. I am gonna love, imagine making little pieces of ephemera like this, and you'd be like, well, why not just use regular book pages and like cut them out? Because first of all, you have to cut them and crop them, and there's something that looks so cool when it's just the top layer and it's kind of see-through like this, and you can just put this on a page and use them in collage and use the numbers. Like, this is so rad. I love this. I can't believe I'm only just discovering this trick now. Where have I been? I've been living under a rock, guys. I've been living under a rock. Make sure you have a trash can next to you, because you'll be pulling off the sticky stuff and it will drive you crazy. If you put it down on your desk, it'll stick to your sleeve every time you put your hand back down, and you'll just be fighting it. So don't fight it. Just stick it to something else other than your desk. I want to see how those look with the rub-off method too, so we're going to put those here. Alright. Okay. So yes, book page works. I was also thinking, let's try a little cardstock. Shall we? This is what we could do. Let's say you have a piece of cardstock you really want to use in your junk journal, but it's really, really thick and your journal's bulking up. What shall we do? I don't have any reason to believe this wouldn't work. Or maybe you just want to capture a little bit of it. Just a little leaf to use. Okay, well, I had a hard time there. What's up with that? Maybe I didn't rub hard enough. Maybe it depends on the paper, right? You know what? We've met our match. That's tough. I did not. Now, it certainly kind of gives the page a weathered look and can be kind of fun, but I did not transfer jack you know what with that. So let's try a little bit of heavier duty tape. And that reminds me, when I was saying that, I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to remember to tell them that. And I lost it. This is really cool though, because you don't have to cut anything out. You can just, oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. The other benefit is you can get multiple things. Tearing this tape terribly. You can get multiple things for different pages now in one decoration. So maybe we want to use a picture on one page, layer tape down, and then pick something up on the next page, and then all of a sudden we have different designs on a single image. You know what I mean? So that can also be really, really cool. Alright, I'd recommend not doing it like that because you're going to get wrinkles like I just got there, but again, this is just a test. Just want to see if this works. Okay, much better with the heavy duty tape. Now, when I say it's really cool because we can pick up things in multiple, pick up images from multiple pages, this is what I mean. Now let me show you. All right, that was cool. So heavier papers, maybe use the heavier duty tape. Now, what if we do this? So let's get our tape. I'm not off to a strong start. Luckily, I have several rolls of this tape because it has really been it can be a bit of a learning curve. You go through a lot of tape, especially when you're first starting. All right. So not so long that it's unmanageable, right? Because you have to be able to control it. Okay. But the longer it is, it's kind of cool. You could use it like washi essentially. So let's get some green. Let's get some greenery here. Green and blue sky. I already wrinkled it, but yeah, you know, we'll deal with it. Okay. All right. Perfect. Now I got that scene, and then let's do this. Let's do travel. Oh, it's not quite long enough. Travel. I want to do travel that takes you further. It's not gonna work. Oh, this is cool. Oh, I love these travel magazines, guys. Rest of the world, that would be fun. Marina Bay Sands. Oh, I have to get this text memories. How cool. You could get that map. The plane. Discover. Ooh, look how beautiful. Tahiti for poor Fiji. Undeniable American masterpiece. That's pretty cool. But again, I have to, there's only a little bit of tape left. I didn't make it long enough. Oh my gosh. There are so many things I want to pick up. Oh, this will work. How about this? Discovering the unexpected. Okay, let's try that. A little wrinkly fang. Perfect. See? So imagine what you can do with this technique, right? This concept of getting multiple different images and multiple different words and everything in one little landscape, okay? All right, I want to, we didn't even get to this magazine. I'm sure there's plenty of cool pickups. Let me see if I can point out a couple. Would love this perfume. Absolutely love it. I will probably pick up that perfume and then use this side in my junk journal. The one with the actual scented perfume. I love making perfume pages in junk journals. Again, perfect. Empire State of Mind, I would probably harvest that. New launch from Michael Kors. I actually got a Michael Kors wallet for Christmas from someone as a gift. So maybe I'll take a picture of my new favorite wallet and put some of that text in there on a page to show what I got for Christmas. I may crop this and use this as something entirely different than a purse. Objects don't have to be what they appear as. This little clasp would make an amazing like little paper button. New arrivals. Maybe I will take, oh, this is so cool. I will probably take this tape. I don't know if it's wide enough and try and pick up some of that. I will probably take this text and cut it up because you want to take, so this Ralph Lauren, this text is like the perfect size for letters that you can use to cut up and use in your junk journals to form different words and phrases. This is a little bit small. However, I'll probably take this though because it's kind of hard to find pink text, you know? Did I already harvest something from there? Oh, yes, I needed that and sign. I needed the and sign, I think, for the actual words and phrases box that I made. That's kind of just a cool little icon, little brand symbol, Roma. I'm gonna harvest this, no question, and put this in my journal that I'm working on for my trip to Italy. How amazing. Perfect timing. Perfect. So excited about that. Love, love, love. The watch face, again, these make amazing paper buttons. You can just cut this out, or you could harvest it with the tape. I would recommend, if you want to use this as paper button, probably cut it out because you're going to want to back it with some thicker cardstock. You could even just use it kind of as it already is structured. You could use these as where you punch your holes instead of some eyelets. It would make an amazing paper button. Oh my gosh. Whenever I look at magazines, sometimes people don't see, you have to look at images in a different way and kind of crop them down sometimes to really see their beauty and their potential for things. Don't say, what can I do with the image of this person? What can I do with this text? What could I do with her bag? What could I do with that cat? You know, like her dress, that's a beautiful, like, sheer white for something else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's not what would I cut out this girl, like, and do with this girl holding a purse. It's, wow, look at that amazing texture on that purse. What can I cut and make out of that texture? See what I'm saying? And when you back things with cardstock and frame them in a little bit of a different light, you can basically do anything with these images. Amazing. Look at those cute little umbrellas. I think I might crop, I'm going to take this and use this in a spring journal layout. Maybe it'll be April showers. What is it? April showers bring May flowers, right? Maybe I'll use that as my prompt and doodle, watercolor doodle some flowers in there. By the way, if what I'm saying speaks to you and this makes you want to craft with magazines, I've done a bunch of them. I love, love, love crafting with magazines, and I will link those videos in the description box and above. Woo! Things are getting a little crazy here. Let's see. I imagine different magazines probably tear a little bit differently. That's not transferring. There we go. Alright. If you start peeling back and you notice that things are not transferring, put it back down, really, really smush it on, and commit to it, and maybe start with a smaller tab, start ripping a little bit further away from the image you're trying to get, and rip a little bit faster. That's the advice I can give you. But again, regardless of our best efforts, sometimes things still come out in a way we didn't really want them to, or so optimally, but it's only magazines. You were probably gonna throw them out anyways, and now look at ya. Now you have something cute to craft with. And that doesn't mean you can't dress it up anymore. Like, this is gonna go on a page with watercolor doodles and a spring prompt, like, and it's gonna be really cute. All right, oh my gosh. I gotta get this whale. Hold on, I gotta get this whale. Oh my gosh, smooth sailing maritime must-have. You guys know I love scuba diving. I love the ocean. I love journaling about the ocean and scuba diving. So anything that has to do with the ocean is going in my journal immediately. Let's see if I can get that, and see if I can get the word smooth sailing. There we go. Alright, I took the whole darn thing with me. That's okay. I managed to not totally rip apart the smooth sailing. Alright, gotta get that smooth sailing. Gotta get it. I wish it was a little bit smaller. It would work well with the tape. I don't know. I'm gonna risk cutting it off. It's like right on the edge there. Oh my gosh. We have to do a video. Alright, I'm already committing to it. Next week we are going to be using these pieces to decorate our junk journals because these are too good to put away and have them sit there. This is going to be tricky because it's touching the page that I didn't rip. Okay, if you have something that you really, really like and you're worried it's not going to come up well, you know what you can do is, I'm showing you, here's another hack. You can just full on cut it like that. Don't be afraid. It's not going to give you that translucent look, but I have a feeling that when we soak it in water, we're going to be able to get a very transparent look anyways. And so it's not going to matter as much. So if you're nervous, you're going to mess it up, or it's not working well for you, just cut it out. I can't believe it's taken me how long into the video to tell you that guys this, but just cut it out. Just cut it out. It will be okay. See? Alright, I'm starting the tape stash on my desk like I told you all not to do. What can we do? Trash can's a little far away from me right now. And then I have to get this Moby Dick one. Okay, and then we're gonna go to our little bowl and we're gonna see how our transparent or not transparent images turn out. Not sure how they're gonna come out. Only time will tell. Okay. I'm gonna try and get this right this time. No. It's hard because it's like stuck to the other page. I think I'm just gonna cut this one out too. Is that cheating? I don't know. I don't care because I really want this image really, really badly. So if that's cheating, if cutting this is wrong, I don't want to be right. How about that? How about that? Alright, we got it. Sorry if my big head is in the way. I'm gonna cut this down. Cut this puppy down. Alright, and then we are gonna get to our images. I can't wait to see how they turned out. Okay, so I've gotten the glorious craft mat out for this, for the reveal. Some of these have obviously been soaking a little longer than the others. Let's start with one I think will do well. Okay, this image capture of this place in Europe, I believe somewhere. I have my bone folder. So for the ones that I didn't just pick up a layer and I picked up the whole page, I have a feeling the peel is going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't want to rip it. I still want to be delicate about it. I have to estimate these probably have been sitting in here for about 20 minutes for reference. I just started with some lukewarm water. Ooh. I just started with some lukewarm water. I don't know that 20 minutes is the exact right time, but I have to tell you that this is one of these where I accidentally pulled the whole page. And I can tell you it's coming off like butter. Oh my gosh. Guys. Okay, this is one of those projects, you know, you watch a like really short clip on Pinterest or whatever, and they make it look so easy, and you're like, no way it's this easy, and you go to try it and it's like a total flub and you can't get it right no matter what. This is not that. Like, if it wasn't for this darn wrinkle, this would be like one of those stickers that you buy in an ephemera pack. It's perfect. Now I will tell you, that wrinkle I have there, I think putting it in the water made it only that much easier to kind of pull apart. And it kind of almost looks like it's the natural, like, because the wrinkle's not there anymore, just a little bit of a gap between the sides of the image, and it almost looks natural, like a walkway or something. I don't mind it at all. Oh my gosh. And you see how there's nothing on the back. I imagine this would probably glue so easy with glue stick. Look how perfect this is. And I'm rubbing, and it's not like the image is coming off. Like, only the initial layer. Oh my gosh, guys. I can tell I'm going to be obsessed with this. Alright, I'm hoping I didn't ruin the text. I don't know what that was. I don't think that was anything. Maybe the smaller pieces I shouldn't have left in this long, but we'll find out. Okay, this was the book page. Let's see how it goes. I'm trying not to rub too hard because I don't know. Again, coming off really, really smooth. And it's not all coming off. Still left with a good amount. Still left with the writing. It just looks very transparent. If that's not what you want, then just don't use the water method. Oh wow. This is so cool. This ends up being a super easy and fun and honestly relaxing process. You don't need a whole lot of force, and regardless of how much paper was left on the adhesive, it all wipes off perfectly. And don't worry about rubbing it and having your image be disrupted. I'm telling you, this was super, super, super easy and worked out perfectly. Okay, so I have to tell you that they all pretty much came apart or off just as easy as the first couple of ones. I noticed that the ones that I had recently put in the bowl were a little bit more difficult, so I would say 20 minutes probably is the sweet spot. All of these are beautifully transparent. They all feel like the adhesive is completely off, so I think storing these is actually going to be very easy. Some of them that were sitting in the bowl for a while, they kind of just with me rubbing the backs off have curled a little bit. I have no doubt that just by kind of getting them dry and then sticking, I was going to put them on a on one of those like plastic dividers I had. I'm sure you could put these on paper, they'd be fine, but I was just going to put them on a plastic divider that I have and then put something heavy on top just to really get them nice and flat. As you can see though, like I just stacked them on top of each other and I have had no issues pulling them apart at all. Some of these are even more beautiful. I was a little bit hesitant to put all of them in water because I wasn't sure if they would reliably sort of, if the back would come off without taking the image with it, and if they looked good. And I'm telling you, there was not a single one that I had trouble with, so I wouldn't I wouldn't have any hesitation to put all of them in. Even the ones where I cut around or took the entire page with it, like this one, came out beautifully. I didn't have really any trouble. Like this palm, this is one of the ones like the entire page came with it. It took me just a little bit more time to get that second layer off, but nothing, and there actually still is a little bit more I have to do, but nothing bad happened. They have that beautiful transparent look, and I feel like I just paid like $1 million for all of these. I feel like these would come in a pack of like the fanciest stickers, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am. Even the letters, these are a little wrinkly. I think once I flatten them out, they'll be okay. They may be a little bit harder to store, but I think once I flatten them out, they'll be fine. Here's that cruise ship. Stunning, right? So I have a few more to do. Here's the text one, and now I will And now I'll probably cut this apart to the most impressive views in town. This is one of those where the text was so small that I thought if I put it in the bowl first, it might be difficult to get the, if I cut it and then put it in the bowl, I thought it might be a little bit difficult to get all the text, you know what I mean? Because it's just so small, I thought it might be difficult to like get the backing off, but I'm really not worried about it anymore. It's such an easy process. Make it the ultimate. Like, how good does this text look? Really and truly, it's incredible. This has to be probably one of my favorite projects I've done in quite some time. I can't wait to harvest more from these magazines. Next week, this is going to be a real treat because I'm going to harvest a ton more of these images now that you know the process, and we are going to be transforming our junk journals with these pages. Next week's video is going to be all about the different ways we can use our transfers, whether they be images, words, phrases, or individual letters, into our junk journals. Please tune in. Stay tuned. There's going to be a special little outro for you guys today. It's going to be another Diaries of Dale that I hope you will enjoy. Also, if you want to see more about the products that I used, I always link my Amazon storefront in the description box. Check it out. I have a list of some of my absolute favorite projects, or some of my favorite items there to make some of my favorite projects. And if you enjoyed this, you want to see more of ink and papyrus, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you the next time.
Billy was walking down to the bottom of the pond. I didn't know what he was so excited about. Looks like there's some turtles there. Oh, they just jumped back in. Oh, look at that. Oh, look. Dilly, look, there's a little pecker with his head out sunning. You see that, Dilly? You see the turtle? Do you see Dilly? Look at him sun. Look at him sun. All right, I think Dilly's ready to get back to his walk. It's such a beautiful day here in North Carolina. Oh, I think Dale's gonna try and catcall the turtle. I don't think you can catcall the turtle, buddy. I don't think you can catcall him. Aww. It's a gorgeous day here and we're just soaking it all in.